for joining me on the mat today. To begin, find a seated position with your sit bones comfortably resting against your mat, your feet crossed in front of you. Roll your shoulders away from your ears, chin is lifted, heart space is lifted, and elongate through your spine. Deep breath in through your nose and exhale deeply. Inhale, reach your left arm down, your right fingertips reach overhead. Bring your gaze up to your right hand as you feel the elongation through the right side of your body. Continue to breathe in and out, reaching and melting over. Inhale, switch to the other side. Your right arm is grounded, your left fingertips reach overhead as you breathe into the left side of your body. Sink deeper, allowing your body to melt. And exhale, return to center, finding your way to a kneeling pose. Sit bones on your heels and reach your fingertips forward into a child's pose. Your heart melts over your knees onto your mat, and you can take this time to sway side to side, gently guiding one underarm closer to the mat and then the other. Look up, seeing if this changes the stretch as you round through your spine into a tabletop, and find cat and cow, chin and tailbone look up, and exhale, push through your hands, push through your shoulders, arching as you round back. Link this with your own breath, find your own rhythm. And here I want you to look within. Move in a circular motion, feel into your body, close your eyes. It doesn't need to look like what I'm doing, it's whatever feels natural. And exhale, find your way back to center and shift your hips back to your heels in a seated pose. Melt your chest forward and draw circles. We're creating a cat and cow movement with our upper bodies, throwing your head back, massaging your neck. Maybe close your eyes or keep them open if it feels better. It's up to you. When you're ready, change the direction of the movement. On your next exhale, find your way back to seated and make your way to the center of your mat with our glutes on our heels. Close your eyes, palms on your thighs. Take a moment to set an intention for your practice. Take deep breaths. Ground yourself and remind yourself why you brought yourself to the mat. Breathe in and let it go. Make your way back to tabletop and lower your body into child's pose. Reaching your hands forward, shifting side to side if it feels good, and inhale, roll through all the way into our cobra, rolling back, leading with your hips. We're making a fluid motion with our spines as we roll back into cobra, grounding your body and pushing it back to child's pose. Follow the rhythm of your own breathing. And this time, see if you can lift your chest and your thighs up into upward facing dog. If not, keep your thighs grounded. Push back, downward facing dog, taking a moment to walk your heels down one at a time, reaching the back of your legs towards the back of your mat and reaching your heart towards your thighs. Plug into your pointer fingers as you walk forward, taking as many steps as you need to the front of your mat. Forward fold, halfway lift, extend, and fold over. Make sure you're hinging from your hips, keeping your spine straight. Grab opposite elbows and come into ragdoll, swaying side to side or staying still if it feels better. You choose to close your eyes or to keep them open. Release, halfway lift. Fold your chest forward. Maybe your hands are on your thighs, your calves, or the ground. Coming in and out of halfway lift to forward fold, drawing the chest in. Gentle wave motions here. Curl through your spine, rounding one vertebrae at a time up to Tadasana, mountain pose. Palms face forward, shoulders roll back. Elongate your spine, crown of your head reaches towards the sky. And breathe. Root yourself through your feet, through your mat. Inhale, arms reach up, palms together into Anjali Mudra at your heart. Inhale again, big breath in, palms together, Anjali Mudra at your heart. And one last time, reach those hands up and exhale, fold down, forward fold, coming into a halfway lift, stepping back into our high plank, taking moments to shift forward and back, making sure your shoulders and wrists are stacked. And pushing back, leading with your hips, downward facing dog, roll through plank. We're going to round through each vertebrae. Our head comes up last as we come into high plank and lead with our hips back to downward dog. Sync this with your own breath. And this time as we round, we're going to take a full Chaturanga Dandasana, elbows in, lift up, upward facing dog or high cobra, looking over one shoulder, dipping the hip, and looking over the other shoulder, dipping the opposite hip. And push back with your hips, down dog. Maybe walking out your legs. Look towards the front of your mat. Take 2 steps. Round up to Tadasana pose. Arms reach up, hands together at your heart. Spread your feet shoulder width apart, hands at your sides. From here, we're going to gently swing our arms side to side as we sway our hips. This helps regulate our nervous system. It helps with any sorts of anxious feelings. It helps make us feel safe. Close your eyes and allow yourself to feel into this movement. And on your next exhale, find stillness as you reach your arms up, hands to heart, Anjali Mudra. Place your feet closer together. And from here, connect back to your breath. Find your intention as you inhale and step your left foot back, high crescent lunge. Stack your front knee over your ankle. Make sure you can see your toes, reaching your back heel to the ground, and experiment with your arms. If you're struggling with balance, lower the back knee to the ground into low lunge. Breathe here and stay strong. Exhale and lower your back knee to the ground into low lunge. Untuck the toes, open your heart further. Bring your hands interlaced to your knee to the ground, or keep them stretching up to the sky. Reach your hip flexors down towards the earth, sinking deeper. Plant your right fingertips to your side and reach your left fingertips across your body, stretching the psoas muscle, your left hip flexor, rounding forward and pushing back to our back knee, half split. Flex the toes towards your body, straightening your right leg. Breathe here. Imagine you're pulling your left hip back and at the same time pushing your right hip forward, This furthers the stretch into our hamstring. Inhale, shift your hips forward, low lunge. Plant your left hand down, lift that back leg, and reach your right fingertips into the sky for our twisted low lunge. Keep your arms in a straight line, keeping your alignment. Back heel is off the ground. Bring your right hand back down and step back into one-legged plank or full plank and release down Chaturanga Dandasana, upward facing dog, and push back, downward facing dog. Taking a moment, feel the stretch through your legs. Look to the front of your mat, take 2 steps, halfway lift, and forward fold. Halfway lift, forward fold. Experiment with your own speed and round up through your spine. Your head comes up last, Tadasana, sweeping the fingertips together at your center. This time lift your right leg off the ground. Hold it for a moment and step back, high crescent lunge. Your left knee is stacked over the left ankle. Your right heel is off the ground. Again, place your hands wherever you need to, keeping your spine straight. Your stance is strong and powerful. Exhale your bottom knee down to the ground. Reposition your hands if needed. Your front knee should still be stacked on the ankle and you should still be able to see your toes. Reach your right psoas down to the ground, feeling the stretch through the hip flexor. Exhale and let your left fingertips graze the mat beside you as your right hand sweeps overhead, stretching through the right hip flexor, through the entire right side of your body. Melt your chest forward, planting both hands down and pushing back into a half split. Extending your left leg, flexing the left toes if you want a deeper stretch, and allow your chest to reach down towards your knee, keeping your back straight and hinging from your hips. You can also experiment with some wave-like motions or find stillness. Breathe into your hamstring, breathe into this stretch, and feel the release through your body. Shift your weight forward, back to low lunge, tuck your toe underneath, lifting that back knee, and extend your left fingertips up to the sky in our twisted low lunge. Reach those fingertips, use your gaze to follow all the way up to the sky. And draw your left hand back down, planting into our one-legged high plank or full plank, releasing down Chaturanga Dandasana, up dog. Tuck your toes underneath and draw your hips back, downward facing dog. Walk it out, feel into your legs, notice the difference. Then your first downward dog, inhale, right leg reaches up. Doesn't matter how high, you can hover over the ground or be all the way up. Holding here, maybe pulsing at the top. Bend your knee and stepping your right knee to your right thumb. Untuck your back toes. Back leg is straight behind you as we find our pigeon pose. Arms stack on top of your mat. Your head releases down, or you can keep your back straight and keep your fingertips grounded. Whatever works for you, as we will stay in this pose for an extended amount of time. Breathe deep into your glutes. We're releasing our muscles in our piriformis and our legs. This can be a very hard stretch to feel comfortable in. So it's important that we pay attention to our intention for the class and to our breath. Sink deeper into your mat and allow yourself to feel rest, to feel softness in your body, and to let what no longer serves you go. On your next exhale, gently lift your chest. Be slow here, extending through your arms. Tuck your back toes underneath, and we're going to lift our back leg off the mat, stepping back, high plank, chaturanga dandasana into upward dog or cobra. And look over your left shoulder, dipping your right hip, and look over your right shoulder, dipping your left hip. Find center, push your hips back, downward facing dog. Walk it out, take a moment. Come back to your breathing, recenter yourself, walk it out on the spot. Melt yourself into this downward facing dog. And inhale, lift the left leg off the ground. Again, it can hover or reach all the way up, and you can bounce it at the top if it feels good. And then you're going to take your left leg, bend through your knee, opening your hip for a second, and then stepping your left knee to your left thumb, releasing your right knee and your right toes to the mat. Check your alignment behind you. And just like our other side, you can stay up with your fingertips grounded or release your chest down to the ground. Maybe your forehead releases to your mat, or you can stack your hands on top of one another and rest your head on them. Whatever arises in this pose, allow yourself to process it. Don't fight the feelings. Don't fight any emotions that come up in this deep posture. Breathe through it and let it release. One last exhale, gently lift your head, followed by your chest and your arms as you bring yourself up, taking your time, tucking your back toes underneath, grounding through your hands, lifting your back knee off the ground, stepping back, high plank or one-legged plank, chaturanga dandasana, upward facing dog, and exhale, downward facing dog. Feel the difference in your sit bones through your piriformis. Walk it out on the spot and release down to your knees. From here, place your heels beside your hips so your hips are grounded on your mat. Close your eyes, palms are on your thighs. Check back in with your intention. Breathe out and place your left fingertips behind you, reaching your right fingertips across and lifting your pelvis towards the front of your mat. Switch to the other side using a floating motion with your arms, rounding through the spine, pushing your thighs forward as your hips reach forward, and switch to the other side. Take it to your own rhythm, match it with your own breath. One last stretch as you find your seated pose, and step your knees to the center of your mat. Switching to your sit bones, and draw the bottoms of your feet together, knees apart, into our butterfly pose. Stretch through your back, rolling the shoulders down. You can interlace your fingers over your toes. And if this is enough of a stretch for you today, stay here. If you'd like, you can draw your hands to your knees, pushing them gently to the ground, or you can reach your chest forward towards your toes. If you'd like to release your fingertips and reach your hands out in front of you, you're welcome to take that option as well. Find what feels best for your body and allow yourself to melt. Feel your hips release the tension, and on your exhale, allow yourself to go deeper. Softly draw yourself back to a seated pose, planting your feet on the mat in front of you, and let your knees fall from side to side, releasing any leftover tension in your hips. Turn to face the front of your mat, planting your feet down, scooping your belly button in, arms reach out. Release with control to the ground and draw your knees in towards your chest. Hugging your knees, begin to softly rock side to side, massaging your spine and telling your body it's time to relax. If you want to go deeper into your hips, grab your knees with your hands and guide your knees towards the ground, rocking side to side, feeling that opening in our hips. If this is too much, remain in the first pose. Find stillness. One last hug into your body, and then extend your legs beneath you. Release the backs of your hands to the ground. And here we find our final posture, Shavasana. Roll your shoulders back, close your eyes, and this is when we allow the movements to sink deep into our bodies. It's time for the practice to absorb into our emotions and thoughts. Find silence and stillness in this final asana. Begin to move. Wake up your body. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Bend through your knees and allow yourself to roll onto one side and slowly make your way to a seated pose. With your eyes closed, continue your deep breathing, reaching your heart up to the sky, and inhale, sweep your fingertips up, palms together at your heart, Anjali Mudra. One more time, fingertips reach up, palms together. Hover over the space between your eyebrows and then to your heart. Embrace the emotions and thoughts within. Thank you for practicing with me today. Namaste. See you soon.